Welcome back, everyone. Good. It's Saturday, the 25th of October. Good evening, Richard.
Paul, how you doing, mate? How's it all going?
Uh, I'm not happy, and I got the
Mate, listen, do you know what? I think you watch too much news, Paul. I might go on a media fast for about a week and just see if it improves my mood. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Not Shabama mood. I mean my mood.
you know what, Richard? I was going to talk about the obvious tonight, right? But the day's events have kind of like overtaken us. I was going to talk about these two beauties. This one,
Yep.
and
Bullet in the back of the head for him.
of course, this one.
Oh yeah,
Right?
him that's better at escaping invasion than Ant Middleton.
Uh, he's now out on the streets of London doing whatever he fancies. But
Paul, do you ever remember the thing on Channel 4 with Peter Blexley? Hunted. Do you remember that?
yeah,
And he was
yeah, I
he was the
do.
gaffer.
Yeah.
We need to get Peter Blexley on this. Blexley would have him wrapped up in about 30 minutes flat. I'm telling you. The problem is we've got the Keystone Cops instead of real coppers. Do you know what I mean?
You know what? For this one, mate, I'm not going to blame the police for this one, right? Because they didn't let him out, did they?
No, they didn't, but they haven't done too much to catch him, have they? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's like a needle in a haystack. I mean,
Well,
he could have been, I mean, come on, right? I mean, he could have been one of this lot.
well, I was thinking that. You know what I mean? All he needs to do is put a hoodie on, and he's home and free, isn't he? You know.
So this is what basically we're going to be talking about tonight, mostly. And
Can I
later
say
on in this,
just
go on, mate,
before
go on,
just
go on.
before we here's a thing, right? You know we're talking about deportations and all that sort of stuff, right? Well,
Yeah,
straight away, front row. I'll go back to that other picture, Paul. Front row, middle, Palestinian thing wrapped round his neck. He's gone, right? He's
yeah,
gone, right?
yeah,
Then you go to the back row, guy flying a Bangladeshi flag, gone.
yeah,
He's gone. You know,
yeah,
the little thing that looks like a Jap flag, except it's on green.
yeah.
Then the one behind that, Palestinian flag, them two gone. So straight away we've got three out. But then again, according to Keir Starmer's thing, we'd have to bring three more in.
Well, look, Richard, as far as I'm concerned, every single one of them in that picture could go. I don't suppose hardly any of them were born here, and the ones that were are certainly not loyal to our country.
That here, have you seen the Hobbit? There's a Hobbit.
Yeah, I've got him. Yeah,
See
I've
next to
got
the
him.
guy in
Yeah,
the green. There's
yeah.
a Hobbit there, mate. Honestly,
I, I bet he's
he's got
dangerous.
he's got. I bet he's got big hairy feet. He's got.
Then we got
Look,
the.
it's Darth Vader. It's Darth Vader, mate.
I mean, what does he think he is?
It's Darth Vader. He's a stormtrooper. It's Darth Vader.
And then,
He's
of
using
course,
he's using the Force.
to finish the day off, just a little bit of
Do you know what? Do you know
showboating.
what's happened there, Paul? Right?
Go
They've
on.
all dropped the contact lenses at the same time, mate.
Oh, right. Is that what it is?
That's
Is
what's
that what it
happened. They've
is?
all dropped the contact lenses all at the same time.
Let's
Is
have a
that? I wonder,
quick.
is that what they all do in prison?
Let's have a quick look in the comments. Where are we? Good evening, everyone. I can see you all there. Thank you so much for joining us. Um, I'm steaming tonight. I almost cancelled the live.
Paul,
I'm
listen.
not. I'm not even joking. I almost cancelled it because I've been so pissed off.
Do you know what? The problem is, Paul, I've seen that much of it now that I'm just kind of going, what's next? What's next? But
Do you know what? Go on. Go on.
no, in all seriousness, right? I mean, I think the best way of dealing with this is dealing it with humour because they are absolutely cretinous morons. And why are they all masked up? Why are they all masked up, right? And and the thing about this is, Paul, right? The reason that UKIP march was banned was not because of UKIP, not because of UKIP's message, but because of those thugs coming out on the street, ballied up, flexing their muscles, wannabe gangsters. I'm with you, Paul. Do you know what I would have done? I would have had loads and loads of army trucks at the end of the road and a big squad with baton shields and just shooed them all at the trucks, took them to the ferry, dropped them off in France and said, there you go, boys, go wherever you want. You're not coming back to UK.
Now, this is the thing, right? This is what's giving me the tonight, right? It's not even them so much because they're doing what they feel they want to do, right? So, I mean, like the enemy is the enemy, right? You have to take the enemy out of it. I'll be looking at the newspapers and the reports. These people are being portrayed. This is now goodies versus baddies, right? Do you remember when you was a kid? Goodies versus baddies, right?
Japs and commandos, Paul.
As far as the media are concerned, these bastards are the goodies.
They're the commandos.
They're the goodies, right?
Yep.
Because they're being described as protecting their community, right?
Yep.
This is the Muslim Defence League. Make no mistake about it.
Oh, well, if it's
And
not, it doesn't even matter what they call it, Paul. We know what they are. Do you know what I mean? We know what they are.
If those guys there today had been white Brits, football supporters, the police would have been steaming in.
They'd
with
have
their
been
bands,
smashing heads.
right? So at
They'd
the
have been
end of the
smashing
day,
heads.
and this is the first question: where is the police? Where were they?
Exactly.
What were they doing? Where's the vans? Where's the dogs? Where's the police
Exactly.
with their battens over their shoulder and their riot gear on?
Exactly, Paul.
Where
exactly.
are they?
Exactly. They're not there. They're not there. You know, and this is the whole problem, Paul. This is what we're up against. This is absolutely what we're up against. You know.
And the narrative, Richard. I'm sorry, mate, but I'm going to give it the narrative already, right? From these bastards in the mainstream media.
Yeah.
They're saying that these guys were there to protect their community against the far right. They are the fucking far right. What is wrong with these people?
Of course they are. Of course
They
they
are
mate.
the far right.
course
These
they are.
bastards, these people, these guys out there today, laying down a marker, putting up a challenge, right?
Yeah.
Flexing their muscles, giving it large, right? They're the ones they're the far right. They are the far right of the Islamists.
Paul, you've got to understand. People have got to understand. I did a video years ago, and unfortunately, some of my audience weren't sophisticated enough to understand it. This was a long time ago, probably about 8 years ago, and my video was why I'm against the far right, and it was about, and I went through a long description of all the definitions of far right, and it was Islam. That's what the far right is. They are Islamo-fascists. That's what they are, right? So. You know, so when people talk about far-right ideology, they're misogynistic, they're homophobic, they're intolerant of other religions to the point of killing them. They kill anyone in their own community that doesn't agree with them. They kill people that go against their rules in their families and their community. They are the definition of far-right fascists. And yet the lefties, you know, the tree-hugging, you know, vegetable rights and peace lefties are all, you know, hug a hijabi. Do you know what I mean? And it's just mental, Paul. It's mental. You know, that guy Zach Polanski, the Green Party. I think the guys that have joined it from the Islamist community, they've got it confused with the Hamas flag or something. They thought the Green Party logo was the Hamas flag, and that's why they've all joined en masse. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy, mate. It's absolutely crazy.
I'm glad you can laugh, mate, because I'm not in the mood for laughing tonight. I know how I feel. I mean, at the end of the day, who are these people? Who do they think they are?
Well, look, where's that video? Let me see if I can find that video. They're not here to take part, Paul. They're here to take over. You know.
Let's have a look. Let's have a quick look.
Yeah.
Hold on, we've done that, haven't we? Hold on. We saw the pictures. Yeah. Let's just go over the videos.
Yeah.
Just quickly. I don't want to see too much of it because, like, to me, you know, I'm not interested in these thugs, but. And let's have it right. They're not singing Knees Up Mother Brown or Any Old Lion, or they're not singing Millwall or West Ham. They're singing Allah Akbar.
Of course they are.
It's religious. This isn't about protecting their community. This is sectarian. When are the police, when are the authorities, when is the government going to wake up? But you know what? They won't wake up. Do you know why? Because Shabana Mahmood yesterday, or the day before yesterday, was in a mosque in New Haven that I know very well.
Yep.
Right? It was just up the road from where I used to live.
Yep.
The place is an absolute dive. It looks ready to fall down.
Yep.
Right? It looked ready to fall down before someone had a go at it, let alone, you know, afterwards, right? So this place was like a building that was ready to fall down.
Yep.
So Shabana Mahmood and Keir Starmer, where Keir Barney said something else then,
Yep.
Keir Starmer goes along, right, and they commit £10 million, not just to that mosque, but towards whatever, right?
Yep.
10 million fucking quid, right? I mean, what the hell is going on? And do you know what she says? These are why these people are getting away with it, Richard. I'll tell you exactly why they're getting away with this, right? 1 second, let's want to play you this. Hold on. This is why they're getting away with it. Right, do you know why they're getting away with it? Because Shabana Mahmood slipped up when she was in that mosque. She said, these are my people.
Yep, absolutely.
These
Totally
are
sectarian.
my people. Now, do you know what, Richard? I've given up worrying about what anyone thinks about what I say. I've given up worrying about what the police might say or what the police, but I don't give a fuck anymore. And I'll tell you why I don't care anymore, right? Because at the end of the day, she said, these are my people. We're not her people.
Nope.
I've not separated myself from her. She's separating herself from us. She's saying, my people. Right?
Absolutely.
My people. So these are her people, right? These are her people. So there's your people, Shabana Mahmood. Get them in order. Get them in fucking order and get them in order now, right, before it's too late. Because I tell you what, the British people ain't going to take this much longer. Because when people like me, who have got a pretty long temper, end up losing my rag, you can bet your bottom dollar that there are people out there that are going to be a lot more hot-headed than me. And frankly, Richard, I have had enough of these people. They've come out, they've been given everything. They've been given a beautiful country to live in. They've been given benefits. They've been given a welcome with open arms. They've had the benefit of every frigging doubt. They've blown up our children at Manchester Arena. They've blown up buses. They've killed people on London Bridge. We've got barriers of fucking peace everywhere, right? And these people repay us with this shit. I am sick of it. I'm done with it.
But Paul, I'm sorry, mate. Not all Muslims are like that. Not all Muslims are like that, Paul. Remember, there's some good ones. There's some
Where are they?
moderates.
Richard,
Exactly.
where are they? Where
That's the
are they
point, Paul.
tonight? Where
That's the
are they
point.
condemning this? Where's
That
Zach
is the
Blansky
point.
condemning this? Where's
That's the point.
where's the mainstream media? Where are GB News? Where are Talk TV? Where's the BBC?
Exactly.
Where's Sky News? Where are all of them? We've not just been betrayed by our politicians, Richard. We've been betrayed by everyone.
But where are the
Everyone
moderate?
has
Where
betrayed
are
us.
the moderate Muslims, Paul? You know, you look at that march there. That was a statement. They were saying, "We're Paul." Play that video I've just dropped in the thing. We've seen it before, but play it again because this is what it's all about. This is what it's all about.
Others who brought you the lovely curry, which is your national dish. So how can you tell us to go? We're not going nowhere. We are here to stay. Like I said, we're not here to take part. We're here to take over.
Yeah, we're not here to take part. We're here to take over. And listen, at least the guy was honest. Absolute total toe rag scumbag, but at least he was honest, right?
Richard, do you know something? Like I said a minute ago, I don't actually hate the enemy. The enemy's the enemy, right? Those people, they're our enemy, right? They don't want Christianity. They don't want the life that we grew up in. They want a caliphate. They want an Islamic caliphate.
Yep.
Now, I don't hate them. You have to understand that they do what they do. I tell you who I hate. I hate the people that facilitate it. I hate the politicians that have forced this shit upon us, right, without asking us once. And even when we have been asked, if you can call it that, we've told them no, and they've gone, well, fuck you, we're still doing it anyway.
Exactly. And they're still doing it. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. And every time
I'm sorry about the language.
No, Paul. No, listen, Paul. I mean, the reason I'm laughing is because I've been like this since 1984, mate. You know what I mean? So that's why I can sit here and smile. I'm not overjoyed with what's happened, but I mean, I've been warning people about this for years and years and years, and everybody, whenever I started saying all this, everybody laughed at me. To quote Bog Monkhouse, but they're not laughing now, Paul. Do you know what I
Oh,
mean?
Richard, trust me when I tell you, mate. I'm well aware of what's been going on.
Yeah.
I've been trying to keep me calm. I'm trying to keep everyone else on the level
Yeah.
playing field, trying to keep it sensible. But we're getting to the point now, Richard, where we just got to say what we see in front of us. We can't pretend this isn't happening.
Totally.
Right?
Totally
We
agree.
said the last stream that we done, I said to you, the weekend is going to be pivotal.
Yeah.
I've got a horrible feeling about this weekend, and I've got an even worse feeling about tomorrow. The
Yeah.
police need to get hold of tomorrow. They need to get hold of the bad guys. We know who the bad guys are, and they need to let them know that they know who the bad guys are.
It's not going to happen.
Leave our people alone tomorrow. I hope as many people that can possibly be there are there. I hope they behave themselves. I hope they do the right thing. And I hope the police get hold of those people that want to put masks on and wave Palestinian flags and wind them up instead of like today with UKIP. Right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not Nick Tanconi's biggest fan, but I tell you what, credit to the fella. I actually messaged him yesterday for the first time in a long time, and he was nice enough to reply. I said, Nick, good luck tomorrow. Fair play to you, right? And what they've done is they've moved the march. They've moved it because they knew it was coming. That was without our lot, I say our lot, the British patriots, out the way.
Yeah.
Imagine if they'd have been going, imagine what they'd have done, Richard.
Well, do you know what? It would have, I mean, I'll be honest with you.
There'd have
If
been a
I'd have been
fucking
doing-
riot, mate. There would have
If I'd
been
have
a
been doing
riot.
that march, if I'd have been Nick Tanconi, I'd have took a nick in today. I would have gone down there, and I would have took my people down there, and I said, right, we're all going to get nicked. We're going to do it peacefully. We're not going to do anything violent, but we go in because Paul, if I want to, when I come next time I come to London, right? If I want to walk through Whitechapel with a camera filming everyone, I'll do it, right? Because I'm English, and that's my country, right? So if I'm in London and I want to go in a Muslim area, I'll go in a Muslim area. I'll go in any area, anywhere up and down the country, because I'm English and I've got a right to put my foot anywhere on ground that is English, right? And that's what people need to start doing, saying, I'm not going to swear, but I'm doing it. I'm doing what I have a right to do as an Englishman. I have a right, if I want to walk through Whitechapel, saying every single Islamist in this borough needs to be deported. Now, I might not live very long doing it, right? But I've a right to do it, Paul, as an Englishman, because this is England, right? And this is Northern Ireland. This is the
But
United
Richard, this
Kingdom.
is the thing. Richard, this is what we got to understand. You haven't got the right anymore. It's
No,
been
no,
taken
no.
away from you.
Well, that's the point, Paul. That's the point. So people have got to get radical, and we've done it before. We've done stuff before, and it's not. I'm not on about being violent, but where you say, okay, well, you've crossed the line. We're going to disobey. We've done it, and we can do it again. You know what I mean? So
I mean, what's this shit on the poster again? Yes, today, right? They had another moronic lot were out today. They had a banner that said, "No justice, no peace." What
Yes.
does that mean?
Well,
What
that
does
means
no justice,
unless
no
the
peace mean?
legal system panders to whatever their need is, there's not going to be any peace. That's what that means.
So this
That's
is
what that means.
again, Richard. Anyone from the authorities watching this, well, I tell you what, go back and watch my video the other night and listen to what I said very carefully, and listen to what I'm going to say tonight very carefully as well,
Yeah.
because you need to understand this, right? What I'm angry about tonight is the fact that the authorities, i.e., you, the establishment, are not getting hold of these people. You
Yeah.
are forcing the decent, honest, hard-working, peaceful, welcoming, tolerant people
Yeah.
of the United Kingdom to start to hate. And none of us want to do that.
Yep.
But you are forcing us. You are forcing our arm. We are now the most downtrodden people in our own goddamn country, and it has to stop, because I'll say it now, I'll say it again. I said it the other day. Why is my own video playing on my phone? I said it the other day. Right? If the police do not get hold of this, this is all going to go very badly wrong. But I have no faith in the police or the justice system whatsoever when they are letting Muslims off of stabbing offences,
Yep.
when someone tried to burn a Quran, and putting people who send a tweet in jail.
Yeah, I
Right?
mean, I'm skeptical that it will go badly wrong, because I think too many people are terrified to actually get out on the streets I think, what you need is you need everybody to grow a pair and say, we're going to put boots on the ground, we're going to do it peacefully, we're going to have mass protests everywhere, and the police have to deal with it. But a lot of people won't do it. Do you know what I
But
mean?
you know why? Because they know that when the battens come out, they know
gonna be them
they're
that's
going to be
getting hit, yeah,
directed.
exactly.
Exactly.
Now
And,
here's-
and what's really blown my mind tonight, Richard, it's not the Muslim guys that have blown my mind, right? I tell you what it is. Well, they blow my mind.
well, they
to a
do what they
degree.
do, don't they?
But they do what they do. You know what you're going to get, right? What's blown my mind is the report in the Daily Mail, the cheeky bastards describing them as protectors of their community against the far right.
The Daily Mail. I mean, that's that guy Dan Hodges, isn't it? He's Daily Mail. Dan Hodges. I mean, he's a wet lettuce, isn't he? What is it Elon called Farage? Weak sauce. They're all weak sauce, Paul. They're all weak, limp-wristed, metrosexual men that have never had a fight in their lives. They've never stood toe-to-toe with someone, took a punch in the nose, took a flipping bottle around the head. They've never done any of that, right? They're not men. They've never stood toe-to-toe and had a fight. And, that's the problem. That's the problem. Where are the men of England? Where are the men of England?
Let's have a look at this. Look, mass Muslim youth takes to East London streets to defend our community after police banned UKIP march to reclaim the area. So they wasn't happy with the fact that the old bill had already given in to them and moved our lot, somewhere else, right? They weren't happy with that. They still come out to give it large, right? And then let's have a little look. Let's click on the article. The streets of chaos, but they got something right there, didn't they? A group of masked Muslim youths took to the streets of East London today, vowing to be ready to defend their community. Like I said, goodies versus baddies, right? The police banned a planned UKIP protest to reclaim the area. Many young men dressed in black with hoods up and their faces covered could be seen as Bangladesh and Palestine flags were waved at the demonstration on streets where UKIP had originally intended to march, but the old bill bowled out and moved them away. One protester at the Whitechapel demo took a microphone promising to stand firm in defending their community from far-right protesters. This came specifically targeting Islam. They came specifically targeting Islam, he said. They said, we are coming on a crusade. They said, we need to take back our streets. We stand firm to let them know, if you come, we will stand firm and we'll be ready to defend our elders, to defend our women, to defend our community. Is that,
what about
defending your women, dear?
Yeah, well, it's not even that, Paul. Who's defending our women from these scumbags that are raping them?
Yeah. Good point. We have never once said we are going on crusades or going into your areas to cause you problems. You're in all of our areas. You are coming into our homes and you want to cause us problems. What is wrong with us standing up? Today is a day we unite, he said to a crowd chanting in a series of messages in Arabic. I wonder what that was.
Let's just let's listen to what they were chanting. Takfir, Allah Akbar. Yeah. Right, and we know what happens normally. Normally, when someone shouts Allah Akbar in a crowd in a crowded room in the UK or anywhere around the world, it's followed by a flipping high explosive vest exploding and killing about 50 people.
It goes on Tuesday. The Met had imposed restrictions on the UKIP demonstration. Absolutely disgusting that they did that in the first place, banning supporters from entering the borough of Tower Hamlets in a bid to prevent serious disorder and instead directed them to Marble Arch. Well, who was going to cause the serious disorder, Met Police? Who was going to cause that serious disorder?
The 2,000 masked Islamist thugs, or Nick Tenconi and his merry band of 70 people. Who's the threat? Who's the threat, Paul? Who's going to be violent? And this is the whole thing. And this is, I keep telling people this. People have got to understand the Met Police have a policy called numbers. And the people who got the biggest numbers on the street, they win. And if you're going to Whitechapel, the wannabe jihadis are going to put the biggest numbers on the street. It's as simple as that. Now, there was a newspaper article last week, Paul, and it was in the Independent or the Eye. The Eye newspaper. I think it's pretty lefty, isn't it? The Eye newspaper. The Eye newspaper reported last week there are 3,000 people in the UK capable of putting an IED together. Now think about that. 3,000 people in the UK It didn't say what community they're from, but you can imagine that are capable of putting an improvised explosive device together. That is absolutely terrifying. So out of that 40,000, you've got 3,000 bomb makers.
I'm just reading, I'm just going further on. Sorry, Richard, reading this. Let me just pick a couple of bits out. It says they're talking about the UKIP march. So we're led by UKIP leader Nick Tenconi, carrying a banner which read, Islamist invaders not welcome in Britain. Well, I think most people would agree with that. No invaders are welcome in Britain. Whilst others at the protest carried wooden crosses. Oh, how dare they? What a bunch of far right. Yeah.
Carrying the symbol of the national faith.
Yeah.
It's a pity more Church of England people don't carry the cross.
They could be heard chanting, "Howl the nation, deportation, send them home," as well as "Who's the King of Britain? Christ is King." Tenconi rejected allegations of fascism, telling protesters that his grandparents had fed fascist Italy. Attending the protest was TV personality, TV grifter Narinder Kaur, who was pictured. I mean, what a.
I think she's a Sikh, isn't she? Is she a Sikh?
No.
She's not a Muslim.
Who was
not a Muslim.
I'm sure she is.
I don't think she is, mate. Let me just crack on. I'll check that.
Who was pictured being led away by the police officers as she confronted far-right protesters? I'll tell you what she is, Richard. I don't care what religion she follows. She's just a grifter. She's on this. She's in this for the money. Anyway, look.
Now here's the thing. Narinder's a Sikh, right? And if you're talking about people that have been treacherous, right? You go and ask Amit Singh what the Sikh women suffered at the hands of Muslim rape gangs, right? Pakistani Muslim rape gangs. Go and ask Amit Singh and his family and his people what Sikhs suffered at the hands of those people. And she's a Sikh, so she's betraying her own people, Paul. It's as simple as that. She's betraying. She should be standing actually with us. She should be standing with her fellow Sikhs, like Mohan Singh from the Sikh Awareness Society. It's absolutely ridiculous. The Sikhs, on the whole, stand with us at every opportunity, Paul. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you get the odd one that's a lefty that's been brainwashed by the woke mind virus, and they completely lose the marbles, like white people that go to.
I've never looked into her because I think she's a complete grifter, a waste of time. She's just an
not
attention.
intelligent. She's just a gobshite.
She's just an attention seeker.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, Paul. That it's not even just a question of Narinder. Look at all those white people. With their pride flags, with their trans rights stuff. Good luck on that in the caliphate, guys. It's going to go really well for you. Good luck.
But do you know what, Richard? I would say, Richard, it's got nothing to do with being white. I would say whoever's on that side waving them silly banners, because there's plenty of black people on our side as well, right? So it's not even about the colour.
No, it's not about colour.
This is about good versus bad.
Absolutely.
This is about people that want to live under Islamic law versus people that don't. Yeah. And we know who wants it and we know who doesn't want it. Why I'm so angry tonight is because it's all rolled into one. The police just let them get on with it. I did not see one police officer there, not one. Yeah. I mean, there must have been some around, but I couldn't see any.
Yeah, exactly.
So would they just let them do what they want to do? I mean, as Tower Hamlet's fallen, look, just put a wall around it and tell us, at least have the decency to tell us that it's no longer part of England and we can't go there.
Yeah.
Me and you couldn't go there tomorrow. We get killed.
Well, I mean, I'd have a go. I'd go. At the end of the day, I've got a right to go anywhere I want. I might have a few lads with me, but I'd go. I'd go to Tower Hamlet.
Do you know what, Richard? Well, honestly, I tell you what, I would go, right? If I knew I wasn't going to get nicked, I would go. Because I tell you one thing, they would not scare me. I would walk through there on my own. Yeah. But I don't trust the old Bill.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But this is the whole thing. So, it's grim, Paul, but here's what this should do, right? So here's why I'm not disheartened with it. Because Paul, I've been watching this for years, mate. I know what they're like. I've been watching this for years. People forget Salman Rushdie. The fatwa was put on Salman Rushdie in 1989, right? There was, I think, 100,000 Muslims marched on Parliament in 1989 about Salman Rushdie, right? So The police have known about this for years. The security service have known about this for years. And I think they've come to the conclusion, we can't cope with it. We'll be retired in 20 years' time. We'll just keep letting it fester. Just keep a lid on it. We're not going to have to deal with it. That's unacceptable because it's our kids and grandkids. I don't care about the police not being able to cope with it.
What about their kids? What about their kids and their grandkids?
They need to find a way of coping with it. But Paul, the thing is, right, it's all about government. It's all about a change in the atmosphere in government, a change in the atmosphere in the population. Now, here's the thing that worries me the most, Paul, right? You know, you hear all this garbage about splitting the vote, Paul, right? What happened in Caerphilly last week? What happened in Caerphilly? Think about this,
right? You're talking about the by-election?
The by-election, yeah. Who won?
Plaid Cymru.
Plaid Cymru, okay. Plaid Cymru won. Where did Reform come?
Second.
Okay, by 3,000 votes. Now think about this, Paul, right? Plaid Cymru are far more left-wing than even this Labour Party that we've got in government.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say it to you, right? And I'm going to say, I know I'm going to upset a lot of people. If there's any people that voted Plaid Cymru watching, you know, shoot me down in the comments, let me know I'm wrong. But you're absolute idiots. If you voted for that Welsh Nationalist Party, I don't care how proud you are of Wales, you're an idiot. Because they're not interested in Wales. They're globalists. They're far left. They hate Wales almost as much as they hate England. And they're not interested in your welfare. They're interested in Abdul, Asif's and Aisha's welfare. Because all of these progressive parties on the left, they're exactly the same. And this is the danger, Paul, right? And when I say it's a danger, it's not a danger from Advance. This is what Farage has done. And this is really important. Because Farage has been so elitist and because Farage has tacked to the right, to the left, because he's tacked to the centre, we're now in a position where people like the Voice of Wales guys and, you know, all the good people, Richie Taylor, all the good people in Wales, right? They've now all left. They're not going to back Reform at the next election. So Farage has done this. It's not Ben Habib. It's not Advance UK. Farage has done it by excluding the British white working class from his voter base because he's pandering to Islamists, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're up against. And if that's too much tough talk for people in Reform and they can't handle it, well, they need to go and sit in a dark room for about 3 days. And this is the biggest problem, Paul. So if in the middle of all this chaos, a far left party like Plaid Cymru managed to win in Caerphilly, and Farage was even down, you know, they threw everything at that and they lost. See, in a general election, being 3,000 votes behind the winning team does not get you any prizes. There's no silver medal, there's no bronze medal. You either win or you lose. And that's what we're up against. So something on the right, we need to get our act together, right? And when I say we, Reform need to get their act together because they're walking around with the tails in the air because the polling's telling them they've got, you know, they're that many points ahead in the polls. I don't care about that. It didn't work in Caerphilly because the leftists got together and they voted tactically. So what needs to happen on the right? There needs to be tactical voting. If you've got people like Nick Timothy, Suella Braverman, all the good people on the Tory side, I don't want them to lose their seats to some numpty from Reform who's going to be probably way farther left than they are, right? So there needs to be some sort of coming together of Advance, Restore, Reform and the Conservative Party before that next general election. Otherwise, we're going to end up with our head in our hands with flipping another far left government.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something. Good evening, James. I'll be with you in a minute, mate.
Hi, James. Sorry, I was on a rant.
Do you know what? This Zach Polanski's dangerous as well. He's coming up on the outside. They're picking up support.
Well, they're picking up support from the Islamists.
I just don't understand it. Right, let's try and calm things down a bit before my head explodes. Let me just read one or two of these out. Mandy, thank you for becoming a member. Stop animal cruelty. Couldn't agree more. Look up Stephanie Irons. Thank you. Big Sue, thank you very much, Big Sue. And Pauline Pace, Paul, I was feeling that way today. Watch the Christians praying over Tommy, warm my heart and calm me down. I watched that, yeah.
That was amazing.
It was absolutely lovely. Girl abuser on the train run with 2,000 debit card from Good Boy. What is that? Girl abuser on the run?
That's the Ethiopian guy.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, got it. £2,000 on a debit card.
Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me.
George, good evening, George. Time to grow a pair, Patriots. The time is coming, George. I very much fear that you are right. James, good evening. I'm sorry for the, you joining us on a rant, but I'm pissed off tonight. I actually almost cancelled the show tonight because, to be honest with you, I've had enough. I've had enough. I tell you now, right? I'm going to tell you straight. I'm considering quitting YouTube, right? Because I tell you now, I don't feel what the fuck. What's the fucking point?
Is this because of how they're messing you around with the subscribers?
No, it's nothing to do with that, James. Nothing to do with that, right? I do what I do because I want to make our country better. I want to come home. I want my kids to grow up where I grew up. I want the UK the way it used to be. But you know what? As much as we try, as much as we do, everything we do, we try, we say, we just keep getting shit thrown back in our faces. And this today, for me, is the final fucking straw, right? I cannot see this going on in the town, the city that I was born in, and the police just standing by doing nothing and treating us like we're the bad guys. We are not the bad guys. I have no criminal record. Richard has no criminal record. James, I don't know about you, but probably no criminal record. Never been involved in drugs, never been involved in criminality, never committed an assault on any women, wouldn't even dream of it, right? And everyone that I mix with and know and have always associated with would never think of anything like that. And yet we are treated badly and we're described as being far-right fascist. I'm fucking done with it.
Well, this might make you feel a little bit better then, Paul. If you look on the comments on the giant flag that we've unveiled yesterday, which has had over 1 million views in 24 hours. Over 1 million views. If you look at the comments, the vast majority, I'd say over 98%, 99% are positive. So I go through these exact same feelings as you, Paul, and I get it.
The thing is, though, James, I'm sorry cutting across you there, mate. Yeah, great. But what are they doing? What is anyone doing? People say to me, oh, you don't do enough, Paul. What are you doing in Spain, Paul? Well, at least I'm trying. What are all them? There's millions of people out there now, millions of people doing sod all. I tell you what, I picked up on a post earlier on, right? I don't know if here we go. This was a message left earlier on. The English are the people who grin themselves to death. And do you know what? He's spot on.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I agree. I mean, the amount of people that have sent me private message, James, we're behind you. And whilst I'm not looking for money for it, I've turned around and said, well, maybe it's time to step up. Maybe you do want to donate because these flags cost a lot of money. Maybe you do want to turn up at these marches. And this is what I want to bring up about the protest tomorrow. Whilst I'm engaging with the negative comments, because I'm thinking that's how you're going to try and bring people around. And I'm being said, be careful because it looks confrontational and stuff like that. When we bring this to the protest tomorrow, I think we've got to change the way we view it. It's not a protest. I was saying this to somebody today. Instead of viewing it as a protest, and then people are thinking, oh, it could be antagonistic, it could be trouble with the police. People are afraid of that. The British, to be honest, are soft now. All this idea about the lion heart and load of nonsense, they're soft, right? So instead you view it that you're going to go there and you're going to be around a big group of like-minded people. Yes, there might be a little bit of trouble on the fringe where a police officer has started it or someone on our side has had one too many to drink, which is rare. But let's just say the outside public who won't attend these kind of marches is thinking, oh, because they've seen trouble on the TV. I think we need to be explaining to them that there isn't trouble really. Most of the time you are walking among people who are there for the same reason as you, not some type of agitator. You are there as a concerned father like me, as a business owner, essentially a future grandfather. And therefore, even if there was trouble, if there's a lot of you, then you stay in the center, not near the edges where the police are. Just use your own common sense. If anybody antagonizes you, just back off away from it. You don't have to go in there kind of shoulders pulled back and that, because that's not what we're going there to do. I've ended up picking up 4 people today who now want to follow me down tomorrow. And I wasn't aiming to do that. I said, look, I'm just going. Some people are coming in my car. And I just noticed as I was speaking that I've only been to a few of these gatherings. But as soon as you say protest, it sounds like it's a confrontation. It sounds like it's a fight. Now, I accept that it is a fight, for the good of, for us to save our country, but it's not in the moment when you're there. And the other part of it is you can feel like you're doing something. So whilst I agree with you, Paul, that's how I feel. I mean, I've just put the biggest flag in Britain, I believe it is, up. Underneath it, we've got loads of Tommies, and we've got a really great display.
Let's play it, mate. I'm had to take the music out because it'll copyright me, but here it is.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Look at this.
Love that. Love it. Beautiful. That is absolutely
Well done,
superb.
mate. Well done.
I'm pleased that it's the biggest flag in Britain, because I could have had it 2 meters bigger just to get us, in case we weren't.
Get you across
James,
the line. That's
James, I've
brilliant.
got to ask you this. So you haven't got to tell me, but can you tell us how much that cost to make?
Yeah, that was £2,100 plus VAT. And then
And what is the size of it?
that's 33 meters, 100 feet by 8 meters, 24
Wow.
feet.
Wow.
My own lads installed it because we're there on the building, but there'd be 500 quid in that. Then the Remembrance Day set that we did the day before, which I think I've also sent you the video. My daughter's helping us paint the poppies on, because I want her to see it as being, this is why we do Remembrance Day. She can then, she's part of a thing called Girls of Steel in Sheffield. She can go, oh, look, I was doing this painting. I said to her, part way through, I said, she said, oh, Daddy, I think I've had enough now. I went, oh, I'm sorry, my darling. We've got the rest of them to do. That's just like, let's get stuck in.
You know what, James? I've just had an idea. Do you know what we should do with that flag? We should take it up right to the very tip of Scotland, Land's End to John O'Groats, and get the women that carry it from one end of the country to the other.
Can you think of some women we can get to do it?
Sarah.
Yeah, she can't do it on her own. She can't do it on her own.
I mean, I'll gladly do it with Sarah. I
Tell
think
you
she's a right laugh. She's a
I
good
wonder if
character.
we could get see if we could get, when we do the demo in May, if we could get that somewhere at the demo in May. I don't know how we could do it because it's so big. I don't know how you do it. You need a big scaffold, massive scaffold for it, wouldn't you?
Is it fireproof, James?
I don't know, to be honest. It was UK
that's
manufactured. It doesn't matter though, because somebody else tried to pull me up for this about, oh look, you're covering a building in a flammable material. So like I explained to them, first of all, I'll screen print what you've just said, because it appears to me like you're inciting arson. But secondly, the weight of material there compared to the weight of UPVC in your normal windows, in your normal front door, it's irrelevant. That building is empty anyway. But all I'm saying is, because it was UK manufactured, I can find out, and let me plug the company for
I'll
it.
tell you why. Go on.
A printing company at Clown at Chesterfield. I would imagine it is fire retardant, although I haven't asked. But if we're going to take one to a demo, I'll make sure we get a fire retardant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you why I asked that, because when I used to work at Fulham years ago, when I worked at the football club, the safety officer there used to insist that any large banners that were brought into the ground were made by certain companies, because some of them were fireproof, some of them weren't.
Okay.
Now
good
you
point.
can imagine if you had a banner that was 50, 60 foot long, which a lot of football supporters and, they do bring flags that size. If some idiot was to stick a lighter underneath it and it's under 1,000 people, you've got a big problem.
Yeah,
Yes,
well,
I
if you
agree.
think what
I mean,
happened
just
in Bradford.
on the building, it's not a problem, because obviously it's on the outside of the building. The building isn't occupied. I mean, when people try and compare it to Glenfell and stuff like that, they'd wrap that building in tens of thousands of litres of petrol, effectively, solid form. This ultimately, if it burned, it's on the outside of the building. The building's not occupied. It would fall to the ground because it's a material. So I'm not over concerned about it, but I agree with you in terms of if we had it at a march.
March, not over the building, but March.
I mean, what I'm thinking is, if you had a big massive scaffold, because we could get Noel.
There was scaffold at the side. There was scaffold at the side of the stage at the last march.
Yeah,
where there were a lot of people on it. If we knew about that in advance,
well, the problem is with that was owned by that was government buildings, wasn't it? But I mean, I'm thinking, because I think, well, I'm not going to say too much about where the next march would be, but the next march should be somewhere with a bit more space. So if we could erect some sort of, I'll speak to Tommy about it.
A simpler way of doing that.
Yeah,
my equipment's too far away. Would just be a couple of large telehandlers, because you simply drive them onto the site, one at each side, and even if you let it flap a bit anyway, that would be the way, because it's fast. Nobody can climb up them. Any scaffolding you erect, you're going to take up a load of space on the ground, and you're encouraging people to climb it.
100%.
You would rent. You'd rent a couple. You'd rent a telehandler for £400 a week plus delivery.
Yeah,
It's pretty quick.
Yep. Get two of them. Yep.
That would be the way.
And
And,
you
I,
could
and I have to get involved with that if that's what it comes to.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's something. It's something to think because I think it looks great. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. If you could have that, you know, somewhere in central London, just a flag of that size, you know, it would certainly be sending a message, you know. And I think the other thing, Paul, I mean, despite what's happened today in Whitechapel, it's not even, what is it? It's just over a month since we put 1 million people on the streets, you know, totally peacefully.
Richard,
without
I'm not
masks.
bothered. Richard, I'm not bothered what they do. They do what they do, right? I'm bothered about the response from the media, and I'm bothered
Yeah.
about the lack of response from the police, and I'm also bothered, if I'm honest, with the lack of response from our own people. Best Black says, I'm not allowed to send what I want to say. Our streets, nothing gets done standing still. Thank you, Bess.
I think the issue is, Paul, with our people, right? The truth of the matter is, we're just off the back of that big demo. People spent. Nobody's got any money in our movement. Most
No,
of the
Richard,
working-class people-
I'm not talking about Richard. I'm not talking about people getting out on the streets.
You're
even. I'm
really
talking-
grumpy tonight, Paul.
Well, I'm talking about people in general, mate. I've got people tonight messaging me
Yeah.
only an hour ago. They're messaging me about football and about
Yeah.
other stuff, stag do's, and I'm thinking,
Oh, I know they don't get it. They don't get it. But look, I mean, the reality is, I mean, we've got to look at solutions. We know what the problems are, Paul. Like, we can get wound up, we can shout and scream, but it's not going to solve anything. What we need to do is say, okay, what's the solution? The solution, we need a political solution. The only way we're going to do this is by getting people into government that will actually change policy and do what needs to be done. It's as simple as that. And if we don't manage to pull that together by 2029, then we're looking down the neck of a civil war. So people have got to get focused. Simple as that. People have got to focus on getting Advance UK into power, maybe in some sort of, you know, pact with good quality Tories, people from Restore or whatever it is, but something needs to happen and Reform need to get a grip and start working with other people. Start being team players instead
when
of
it
being on
is
an ego
over.
trip.
Do you know what? I'm sick of Reform. In fact, my wife's back home in England at the moment, and she was stopped by a Reform person today in where I'm not going to say where she's.
Yeah.
She was stopped by a Reform canvasser. She just said, "I'd never vote Reform with Farage in charge." They just
Yeah.
went,
Yeah.
So funny enough, obviously, I get people coming up to me because I've been a bit involved with Reform, even though people still think I am. And I say, well, I'm not necessarily voting Reform, but I'm not telling anybody else not to vote Reform. And some people could, obviously, a lot of people shout Reform and pat their hoods and that. But some people could not even say the word. Now, because I don't believe there's any risk of splitting the vote because we're 3.5 years away. So what I'm saying to people, and I think this is a good way to lead people in, you're still okay to vote Reform, but join Advance UK and Restore Britain.
Yeah.
That way, you're not trying to convince people to change where the vote is. But what you are doing is you're putting the Advance brand and Restore Britain in front of them. So it's a bit like the teaser with a video. And then you're reassuring them by saying you're not splitting the vote because you can still vote Reform. But in the meantime, you're helping to make the centre-right, which is what Reform is supposed to be, we're making an anchor on the right-hand side to hold Reform true. Because to try and ask people to move from the first bit of hope they've had of Reform to something else and jump ship again, is too big a move. It's like the people that are still going to vote Labour, even if they had a gun to the head by a Labour canvasser, right? Some people are just not going to move. So we only need to move 10%, 20%. If we move 5% to Advance UK and Restore Britain, so then they've got maybe 100,000 members. We've already seen what the threat of Advance UK before it even launched has done to Reform. A year ago, no mass deportations, not even an aspiration. I would actually argue now they've moved too quickly to deport all people. I can tell it's putting people off Reform, even though I think that's where we should have gone. It should never, Farage should never have said a year ago, no deportations, because that put people off. So then the distance they've had to travel from there to where they are just makes it look like they're flip-flopping. If it has been more in the centre saying, yes, we'll deportations, but with no number on it, and then said we're going to do 600,000 people, I think people would trust him more.
Yeah.
I think he's blown his own trust. He's actually going to have to now wind back a bit, or at least sit tight for 2 years on deportations, because nobody will. No, what it's starting to think is extreme. So I believe that where he's gone is right, but he's gone from the wrong place and gone too quickly to the right. So we now need to reassure the voters that we are still backing reform, but to have reform where you want them to be, we need both a strong anchor and an alternative. Because what I'm saying to people is, if anything happens to Farage, he retires, he gets assassinated, he gets ill, whatever, we have potentially elected a Muslim government, because Zia would then become the prime minister, and you potentially will have another human rights lawyer, Muslim woman, as the mayor of London. So we need to have already built up this presence on the right, even if we're not looking to split the vote at the next election. Because then,
to be honest with you, James, I agree with you to a certain extent, but on the voting at the next election, I think from my point of view, I could never ask anyone to vote for reform because I know too much about them. Paul, I was warning about this before the last election, wasn't I? And I said, look, what's gonna happen is reform are not ready for this. Farage came in at the last minute. They weren't ready and everyone's going, they're going to get 100 seats. I said, they're not going to get 100 seats. If they get 10 seats, they'll be doing absolutely exceptionally well. And I said, what you need to do is back Tory candidates that are good candidates, the Suellas, I don't really rate generic, but the Suellas, Liz Truss, Nick Timothy, Coutinho, all those sort of people. They need. If I was in Nick Timothy's constituency, I'd be voting for Nick Timothy at the next election, and I'm a member of Advance. Yes. My local area where I am, if my local MP stands again, who's an independent unionist, I would vote for him, even though I'm in Advance. There has to be massive tactical voting right the way throughout the country. So if Ben Habib's standing in a strong constituency, you vote for Ben Habib. If Richie Taylor is standing in a constituency in Wales that you're in, you get behind them. If and I just can't tell anyone to vote for reform. Sorry, but
let me get through one or two. Hold on, let me get through one or two of these guys. Sorry, Stop Animal Cruelty. Thanks. Watch Apostate Prophet and learn quickly. Cal, thank you, Cal. Paul, Rich. I'm from Wales. Plaid are xenophobic and Anglophobic. They will never get independence for Wales because it will die if they do. I'm moving. I mean, 11% of those idiots down there still voted for Labour.
I mean, I'm more worried about the ones that voted for Plaid Cymru. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Reform should not have lost that election. It's an embarrassment for them, to be honest with you. And they're just, it's nothing to see here. Nobody's talking about it, but they should be talking about it because Reform have brought this on themselves by demonising us.
But Richard, whilst I agree that you can't ask people to vote Reform, not everybody is where we are.
No, I know. You're right.
All I'm saying is, it doesn't make a right lot of difference what me, you, and the other 10%, whatever it is, do. We should still do what we need to do.
Yeah.
But if you're not going to be able to put that vote in the box for somebody else, so you've at least got to try and start to bring them this way. And I'm doing it this way, but the camera's opposite way around, so it looks like I'm going to the left. You've got to try and start to bring people to the right and make them at least be aware of it. There's no point banging the table and saying, well, don't vote for them, because at the moment they've got the zeitgeist, because everybody needed something else, and Reform were the first one there. I mean, I will fully back you. If I've tried to get in touch with Ant, if Ant will get in touch with me, I will do anything to back Ant into London as best I can. I'm in touch with Ben. Yeah. I'm not doing all of them, but I will go and put my time behind campaigning for any of the type of candidates that we're talking about. So I completely agree with you. I'm trying to make this campaign a fly the flag bigger for exactly the same as what I've just said to you about the centre-right parties. We can make people look at the flag, then we can use the flag to our advantage. Does that make?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And and there's nothing wrong with doing that.
This is the problem, though. This is the problem. We're talking about Ant. We're talking about, is it Layla Cullenham?
Yes.
Layla Cohen.
Yeah.
I like Layla. She talks a lot of sense. And here's the thing. They should be on the same goddamn side. They should
Well,
be.
that's the problem. That's the
This
problem.
is the problem.
And
They
it's
should be
coming
on the
it's coming
same
from one
side.
man. It's
And
coming
I'm
from Farage.
sick to death of it.
Yeah.
Debbie Vaughan, I feel and understand your age. Paul, same here. Thank you. Cheers, Ben. Caroline, Paul, don't stop. I don't know.
He's not going to stop. Don't worry about that. We'll not let him stop. He's not going to stop.
I have to know others think the same. I feel so lonely being this angry. Caroline, do you know what? You know what, Richard? I'll tell you what I do mean, right?
Yeah.
I've never been a man that likes to waste my time, ever. If I think I'm wasting my time, I'll walk away from something, right? And
Yep.
and we had let's share something that was private, but it won't be private anymore. We had a telephone conversation this morning, right?
Yeah.
Tell the audience what the conversation was.
I can't remember, Paul. To be honest with you.
Well, it must have made a right impact.
Listen, do you know what? I'm not going to tell you what sort of day I've had, but there's stuff going on that I've been dealing with all day that is chaotic. So it's gone. Just remind me.
Right. So the conversation was, Richard, we've got to the point now where we've got to start thinking of things that actually work.
Oh yes, sorry. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Right?
No,
we need to come up with something. We need to come up with a plan that is legal, peaceful, within the law, but actually achieve something.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I mean, the reality is obviously the big plan is winning the election, right? That's the plan, and then we need to put policy on the bones of that straight away, and that's obviously
3
a work in
years
progress.
away, Richard. That's 3 years away.
Yeah,
we
but
need
Paul-
something now. The
well,
people need something now.
yes,
I
they
need
do.
something now. We all need something now.
It's very simple. You start a halal boycott straight away. You boycott everything that is halal slaughtered. That's a very small thing. It's not difficult to do. We can do the research. We can find out the halal industry in the UK. Now, wait till you hear this. Is worth 1.7 billion a year. 1.7 billion. There's loads of the money going to different Islamic charities. I'm not going to comment on that because obviously you've got to be very careful what you say about halal because they will sue you. But so, it's a massive thing. It is totally against British values, cruelty to animals. There's all sorts of controversy about whether they partially stun the animals or whether they don't bother even stunning them at all. They basically recite Islamic verses over the animal's head and then cut its throat and let it bleed out. And the other thing about that is, people used to, do you remember when people used to say, how do these jihadis manage to chop people's heads off? Well, they're used to chopping animals. They're used to cutting animals' throats, so it's no different to cutting a human's throat to them. And
I don't understand. I don't understand how they can talk about reciting religious Islamic thing, because as far as I understand it, it's just a recording. So then you could say that about anywhere. Yeah. It's not like you've even and what is it? And even if it is somebody from a mosque, what is an imam? What makes you call it an imam as an elder, as a scholar?
It's abhorrent. It's an absolutely abhorrent practice. And to me, if as just as consumers, if every time we went into Tesco's or went into Sainsbury's or a local butcher's or whatever it is, and you say, is this meat halal? Find out the sign. Obviously, I think they have to mark the packaging. See, the good thing in Northern Ireland, we don't really have a lot of it in Northern Ireland yet, but we're getting more Muslims, so you're going to get it the more Muslims you got. But the reality is, if you get that banned, and eventually, if you put enough pressure on government, on supermarket chains, it's very the easiest way is. The easiest protest. I love a curry. Everybody loves a curry. If it's the way it is. We all love it. But just stop going and eating in curry houses that have got halal food. Straight away, that would absolutely devastate their industry, because they would do that to us without a shadow of a doubt. And
this is the thing, though, that generally speaking, the other side only spend money with their own.
Exactly.
And we don't, because we're quite an open, we're an open, very welcoming society.
Absolutely.
And I don't believe that the British public will even go as far as to do that, Richard, even though I would say it's nothing, because look at how few people will fly the flag. I don't mean people who put them on lampposts. I mean, look how many few people are putting them up in the windows. I mean, I think I might have sent you the image, Paul, if you put it up. I've even had some internal window transfers done to try and make it easier for somebody to feel like they're showing a flag without it being outside and without being as much. I mean, we're going to start going around and offering them to shops for free as a small one, with the idea of saying, if you ever want a bigger one, contact us and we'll sell you a bigger one, just to try and do this bit of a nudge. Because let's face it, if only 6% of the population are Muslim, that means 94% are not. So you wouldn't have thought it should take. You would have thought the big supermarket chains would soon realise where their bread's buttered. But I just don't even think. I'm not even sure you can get the 6% of the British public to go and do that. And that
I agree with you, James. I totally agree with you. But you've got to start somewhere. Do you know what I mean? You've got to start somewhere. And it's like, you know, I've got policies that I want to see. I mean, at the end of the day, this is just me. You know, I'm pig-headed enough to say these are things that I think need to be talked about, and I'm going to be talking about the policies that I'm thinking will, because at the end of the day, you know, like we keep saying, we you know, there are moderate Muslims. We don't want to kick every Muslim out of the country, but what we want to do is get rid of people that are dangerous to our country and want to destroy our country and turn it into a part of the caliphate and have.
You know what, Richard? I'm even sick. I've even got sick of that one, right? I mean, at the end of the day, where are they now?
No, I know.
Shabana Mahmood. Don't forget what she said this week. Yeah. These are my people.
No, I know. I'm not disputing any of that, Paul. But what I'm saying is the policies that I know will work, because they're working in France. France is 40,000 Muslims have left France as a result of the burqa ban. 40,000 have gone as a result of the burqa ban. You ban halal.
Come here.
Well, quite possibly, Paul. Quite possibly. You ban halal. You ban cousin marriage, you ban the burqa, you ban Sharia courts, you ban polygamy, you just clamp down and clamp down and clamp down on things that are actually illegal right now.
They'll deport themselves.
They'll deport themselves. They'll go because.
Yeah, but we have to have a will.
Let me finish, Paul. Please, please let me finish. The reality is that these extremists are the problem, because the moderates are not. There will be moderates. But they're not standing up because they'll get their heads kicked in. You just seen all those lads with balaclavas on. They'd be coming through your door if you stand up. Northern Ireland, that's what used to happen in Northern Ireland. If people stood up against the paramilitaries, the door came in, right? So people kept quiet because they were terrified, right? You get rid of the extremists, you get rid of the jihadists, you get rid of the Islamists, you get rid of the fundamentalists, and the rest of the Muslims that are left will be the likes of Shohab, Lubna, those nice people that, and we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg of the ones that genuinely are good people, right? There's a hell of a lot more that are there. So
well, if you remember the speeches from some of the leaders in the UAE, and they outright said, "You've got these problems, we haven't got them because we don't allow it." Now, even though they're Muslim countries, they're just not being as liberal as us.
Absolutely.
It's the same as the praying in the street or in the middle of the train or whatever. That's purely a sign of dominance. So that's what we've got to crack down on. But we all know these things, Richard.
Yeah.
But clearly what Paul is saying, and I think this is what lots of us think, and I know you've been involved in this movement for a lot longer than me, you just get frustrated with it at times, going, how many things can we try? I mean, if you go back a week or so, false flag, small fire on the front door of a mosque. The door didn't even catch fire.
Hold on, mate. Don't talk about that one tonight. Not the actual offence, right? Because I wouldn't do it.
I wasn't going to say about the offence. I was going to say about the £10 million then announced to protect.
Oh yeah.
Hang on a minute. There's been 3,000 Christian churches in the last 5 years being vandalised. So all I was just trying to say is we know where you are, Rich, and I think me and Paul are the same. But what Paul's trying to get at, and I know you two are very close, is just the frustration, isn't it? Going, even the most basic things, the British people won't stand up. So while we're here now, I'll make the appeal. Turn up tomorrow. I'm up at 6 a.m. tomorrow. If you come and meet me, I will have a backpack full of flags that you can have for free. Wear it like a cape. Come and have a nice time.
And this is Southampton. This is Southampton, James. Yeah.
This is Southampton. Yeah.
Yep.
I've never even been to Southampton before, but I know I'll have a nice time. I'll have some friends in the car. We'll have a laugh on the way down there. We might have one beer beforehand. We won't particularly have a drink. You'll then be chanting with everybody and just generally having a nice time and feel like you are trying to do a bit of something, just like what Paul's talking about, and come away going, even if it hasn't changed it, you've started to make a difference. And then people then are probably a bit more inclined to maybe go along with the halal ban, maybe a bit more inclined to fly the flag. Just the nudges. But I want to pay respect to you two, because I know that you've both been on this job a lot longer than me. I've certainly come at it kind of really rapidly after South.
But it's great though, James. I mean, honestly, I mean, you know, whenever new people come into it, it is so encouraging, because everybody's got different skill sets and different talents and different things that they're good at, and it's so good to have loads and loads of people getting energized by it and getting active. And that's why I'm not hopeless. And I do think a lot of British men have been sissified. I was saying earlier before you came on, you know, how many of these politicians when they were at school had a good punch up? How many of them, you know, went out when they were teenagers in a pub car park and knocked bells out of each other? That's what it was like when I was growing up in Middlesbrough. It was rough as get out, but it didn't do you any harm. Same in the military, it was rough. But the point is, there's a generation that are terrified. There's just a generation that's full of fear. And Paul will tell you, I'm not scared of anything or anyone, you know, and I don't cause trouble. I haven't had a fight for years, but I'm not scared of anything. And actually, when this stuff happens, it just makes me more determined. It's like my superpower. When this stuff happens, instead of getting down, I go, do you know what? It's just put a little bit more steel into my backbone, and I'm going to go even harder than I did before. Do you know what I mean? And is that right, Paul? I'm not bullshitting. I mean, that's, you know.
I'm just looking at something here, right? This is what he's giving me the ump with the whole thing, right? I mean, there's so many things. I'm just looking at today's football, right? Let's forget the Premier League. Let's forget the Premier League, right? There were 30,109 people at Coventry City a day, 28,000 at Ipswich, 20,000 at Portsmouth, 24,000 at Bristol City, 28,000 at Derby, 20,000 at Hull, 30,000 at Middlesbrough, 18,000 at Millwall, 27,000 at Sheffield Wednesday, and 14,000 at Swansea.
Yeah.
And yet you're supposed to get that many out on a march to try and save their own country.
And I'm a man that loves me football. I love my football. There were 52,000 at St James's Park today. Right?
But
now,
the problem is with the football, I mean, this is where we need to, you know, I would be radical enough to say that you probably need to ban Arab ownership of football clubs and just boot that money out, you know, because, again, that's a big problem, because what they do is by stealth, you know, you look at Newcastle, you know, Newcastle was languishing, never doing anything. That, you know, the Saudis take it over, and it's like, you know, so
and they're still not doing much.
No, they're not. But at the same time, the problem is
they beat us today, but
there wasn't too many protests about Saudi Arabia taking over the club. And you look at the human rights record of Saudi Arabia, you know. You look at, and obviously we're talking about the UAE, and again, they are clamping down on Islamists, but when it comes to human rights, they're probably not exactly a free society like we would know it. And this is the problem. I think we've got to realize we have a very radical problem. And unless we get power, we're not going to be able to solve the problem. And then when we do get power, we've got to be very, very clever in the way that we do it, and we've got to do as much as we can using existing laws, like, you know, like I was saying with the polygamy and all the rest of it, passing little laws that aren't that bad, you know, at the end of the day, you know, banning the burqa, banning halal, it's not a major thing. It shouldn't be a major thing, and you'd carry most of the British public with you. Even a whole lot of lefties would say ban halal because it's so cruel to animals. You know, you emancipate Muslim women, you let Muslim women start behaving like Western women, you know. And
where I would pull you up there though is on banning the burqa and banning the niqab. It shouldn't be that. It's ban all face coverings in public.
Well, sure.
It's definitely an oppression of women that you should not be able to at all.
Yeah,
how does that make you? What's the point in having CCTV and facial recognition? Even if somebody's not intending to do something wrong, that feels like less of a society if you can't see somebody's face.
Totally agree.
And then you remove the sex. Then you're removing the sexist thing out of it. A man telling a woman what she can't wear. No, all face coverings in public. And if not, they can instantly pull them up. The police should be able to take them off.
That'd work. Totally agree.
That should be an easy law.
Yeah. Let me get through one or two of these guys. Thank you, Jenny. Really appreciate it. And thank you, Ben. Swear you go forth, Paul. You're a good man, and it's natural to get pissed off. Listen to some good tunes, have a beer, spend some time with family and friends, and come back recharge. It's always dark before dawn.
It's because Mrs. Thorpe isn't here. That's what the problem is. He needs a good shoulder rub. That's what his problem is.
Nina, Paul, please don't stop like many others. I cry. I feel the same as you, so please don't give up. Look, I mean, look, I just want to see some action. You know, I just want to see us
A lot of suggestions for
making
you,
a
Paul.
change. Go on.
I did this the other day, and I do like an ice bath and a sauna, but I've had a lot going in my head, and even my missus went, and then my pal went. If your head explodes, you know, you're not going to help anybody. So I went to his ice bath centre. So if you can find something like that at your place, near where you are, the saunas, into the ice bath, back in that. And I like not just a cold dip. I'll lay in it for 5 or 6 minutes. Super cold.
I was just going to say,
But you build up to it. You know what I mean?
Paul's channel might be over quicker than you think, James. If he jumps in an ice bath, they're going to have a crash team next to him.
I won't even get in a swimming pool unless it's as hot as a bath.
Honestly, I spent an hour and a half down there, and there's a little bits of chatting to people, but because your body's stressing about something else, I came out and did feel like a weight had been lifted off me.
I know what you mean, mate. And I tell you why, it's coming up to that time of year again. I mean, we're not that far away from Remembrance Sunday, and like, you know, the poppies are coming out, and it just pisses me off to see this going on in our streets, and it just makes me so bloody angry. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Debbie, thank you very much. Keep raging, Paul. You speak for me too. Gibby boy, soon name change Tower Hamlets to Tower Muzzies. I'm not sure you can say that. Can you say that? I guess so.
Well, he said it, hasn't he? So
Yeah.
you can't unring a bell, Paul. You know what I mean?
Galloway Raider, ask James where I can buy that T-shirt or that shirt, please. James.
Facebook, there's a brand called Fashion Illy. We've got a few different ones on. Fashion Illy on Facebook.
Do you know them?
No, nothing to me. And they're only they take a bit of time to come about. Then they're about 22, 24 £, but they take 3 or 4 weeks to come. So I ordered 5 or 10 different ones, or 5 times another. And it's just, I would like to do branding, but merch, but how much different merch would you add? And I don't want people to say that's what I'm about. Really, I've got businesses for business, and this is something I'm trying to do to save the country for.
Well, if they want to offer my viewers a discount, if they get in touch, I'm sure we could sell a lot for them.
Fashion Illy.
Guys, stop critiquing Paul. If you're not as angry as Paul is, then you are not paying attention. I'll have to have a look in the regular chat if I can get around to it. Thank you, Pauline. Sorry, it's time to enough of peaceful this, peaceful that. I don't want to hear it anymore. This is the danger. People are going to start feeling that way.
Yep.
Stop animal cruelty protest tomorrow in Southport. That's never happened before. It's finally happening here.
Talking about Southampton, are they?
Southampton, yeah I would imagine.
Well, it could be Southport. Do you know the
Nick,
laugh is? Do you know what? Do you know what's funny, Paul? Normally it's you calming me down.
I know.
You know, I'm on a rant like an absolute madman, and Paul's giving. Now, Richard, just calm down a bit here.
I do think though, you've got to have these conversations, right? And I'm challenging people to come and have a cup of tea and biscuits on camera and debate it with me. And that's not because I'm some Charlie Kirk or anything like that.
Yeah.
But what I realise is when you know that you're on the right side of it, you don't need all statistics. You need the best overview of it. So just today, 2 different Muslims have contacted me. It must have been, it wasn't over the flag. It was over a comment on something else. Anyway, so this guy starts being a bit funny. So I says to him, I'll tell you what, then let's set it up. So I says, are you near Sheffield? So oh no, I looked Luton. I said, okay, let's sort out the logistics. I'll meet you and we'll debate it. Because he put it like straight away changed his tune. He went, James, I've had a read of a few of your comments and I can see that you're just a decent man. And I thought that helps. Then somebody else has messaged me with a photograph of him in front of Downing Street, a different guy. And he was a similar thing, kind of trying to take that IORS kind of approach. And I went, no problem. Cup of tea, biscuits, I'll provide them on camera. Let's see if you kind of know your stuff, because we know that we've got the right arguments, because how can anybody argue that what we're saying isn't the right way for the country? All right, you might have 10 or 15% of the lefty, loony, woke tard twats, but you're going to get that in any kind of mix of people. And then you're going to get some of the very extreme to the right, which, if I'm honest, I've only ever seen what I would consider 2 or 3 of them in my life ever. And I could see them instantly, almost like eyes bulging out. And so we know that they're such a minority. So that isn't the thing. We only need the 35% in the center, right? So forget the extreme 15 there, except them. That all we've got to do is move maybe 5%, 10% over that bit to get you 35% in the middle. Now, to get to 35% of the minute, say, for advance would be a massive thing. So there's no point aiming for that. What we want to do at the minute, we want to look that we drag reform that way by having this weight on the right. And at the same time, we're then building up our influence within the institutions, just the same as what the other side's done. The other side have had 30 years to move the institutions their way, which is why they're chucking money at, let's say, protecting the mosques, and they're not swearing an oath on the Bible, they're swearing it on the Quran, you know, because they've had a long time to move that way. So we've got to not rush too quickly. And I know that we're all impatient. I'm not very patient at all, Paul, so I get what you mean about wasting time. But we can't force them to do it. So if instead we can have the good conversation on the right, and it slowly just lets them people come with us, that's the only way to get it. We're not going to get
Look,
it.
it sounds great. The only trouble is half the British are too busy either watching their football team or watching Strictly, and that's the problem.
I agree. I don't even watch football, so I don't really want to insult you lads being proper football supporters. But
I'm not. I gave up. My team was Middlesbrough, so I gave up on that a long time ago.
Richard don't count. He comes from Middlesbrough, so that don't really.
No, listen. I mean, you know, when I lived in Middlesbrough, I was there every weekend that they played at home. But like, I ain't lived in Middlesbrough since I was 17. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, but
if you could get
last match I was at was Ayrsham Park, so it shows how long ago it was. You know,
I mean,
and that was in the middle of a northern.
Graham Souness was an apprentice.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
If they're not watching or talking about football, they're talking about Married at First Sight or Love Island. You like?
Yeah. That's the women are talking about that, and the lads are talking about. Well, the sad thing is a lot of the lads are talking about Married at First Sight as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Let me read these out. Nick, thank you very much. Met my former ward councillor at Advance UKNE North East meeting earlier. My area has a 9% average voter turnout. Any ideas how we can turn that level of apathy around? Show them the videos I played earlier on.
Well, yeah, this is what I was going to say though, Paul. I mean, this is where I want to push back a bit against James on the reform thing, because I think we're only one very nasty incident, whether it's a terrorist attack or whether it's a, you know, some English guy gets kicked to death by one of these masked gangs of Muslims, and the people will start shifting, because it's been, and people go, well, why didn't they do it after Ariana Grande? Because there was such a massive PR campaign by Theresa May's government. Bumblebees, don't look back in anger, don't have anything to do with fascist Tommy Robinson, all that sort of garbage. That's basically, people are just seeing through it because of COVID. After COVID, everybody went, hold on. So if they were lying to us about COVID, what else were they lying to us about? So, and then people start looking at Tommy, they start looking at what I'm saying, they start looking at what other people are saying on the centre right, and they go, actually, these people are making sense.
It's probably easier to talk about what they didn't.
Also, because of this is Elon's Falcon 9 rocket. The reason why there's a difference is because we've got X now. Not just because we've got Elon backing us.
Absolutely. For a minute, James, I thought that was something you bought from Love Honey. I was getting a little bit worried about that.
I was going to say, I thought we paid a visit to Anne Summers.
I mean, I tell you what I think will be really scary, more than seeing a guy get beat up or whatever, because people will turn. If there's an attack on schools like those rumours about a month ago, and you see pictures of kids, not just some stuff. I actually think the attacks then won't even just be on the streets. I think the attacks will be on MPs and everything, because they'll go, "You brought this here."
Yeah. I
so
agree.
febrile, and I don't want that, which is why I'm putting all
No,
my
that's why we're doing what we're
time
doing, because we don't want
into
that.
campaigning.
That's the
I
whole
don't
point.
Trouble
want
is
that.
though, James, this is what I'm tired of. They're not listening. You know,
government aren't listening, though.
it's like saying to someone, if you keep doing that, if you keep saying to your daughter, if you keep going out with that fella, he's going to do you some harm. If you keep going out with that bloke, it's going to end up going wrong. If you keep going out with that fella, it's not going to end well. And then when it doesn't end well, you say, well, what did I fucking say to you? Why didn't you listen to me?
Yes,
Yeah.
but the difference is now. Look at, I didn't go to the first 2 marches, but I did go to the last 2. Look at the difference in the amount of people there. I've got people now saying to me, and I've never been in any kind of protest movement or anything, oh, I'm going to the next one, right? There's more people now, Paul, saying that. So eventually that critical mass, I thought there was about 1 million in London. Now it's turning out that seems to be about true, because I was at the back handing out flags of our own, and then, right? So I think I had a good feel of it, 500,000 to 1 million, people coming back at 1 million. So I think, wow, what a turnout, 1 million. You know what I mean? Without over-egging it, trying to say it's 3 million, not trying to. So I think it's very believable now to be 2 to 3 million at the next one. Let's say 2 million, so we don't over-egg it again. And you go, wow. Then you go, well, how many's going to be at Southport tomorrow? Well, I've never been to marches, I've never been to gatherings before.
Yeah.
And yet I was at Faversham because I was asked to go and help lead that a week or 2 ago. I went immediately from there to Epping because Sarah had mentioned it. And I don't even see myself as being involved in that. I see myself as being a very engaged dad. I'm building a business. I'm housing people. And yet even I'm taking the time out. So if I'm doing that, I believe, Paul, we are getting through. It's just that.
Do you know what? Do you know what does me? Probably what frustrates more than anything is the treachery from our own people.
Yes.
From our government, you mean?
Yeah, from the government,
Yeah.
from people. I mean, did anyone see that video that Baraka did yesterday with that stupid young girl?
Which
That
one's
was Baraka released a video yesterday,
No.
and he's got some young lefty girl in front of him. She's hollering, screaming, doing all the hand movements, you know, these university hand movements, and the eyes are going everywhere. I mean, the girls completely start raving bonkers. They're completely gone.
I'm just not worried about those people anymore, Paul. I think we've just got to work. You know,
Well, I'm worried about them, Rich, because they've all got a vote.
Well, they have, Paul, but I mean,
They're
they're all
all.
the ones that voted for Plaid Cymru and vote for, you know, Sinn Féin, the SDLP, and the Alliance Party in Northern Ireland. I mean, but the reality is, if we, I don't want to use the word radicalise, but if we motivate our base and get everybody out to vote that agrees with our politics, 79% of people in the UK want less migration. 79%, that's a fact. You know, 52% think Islam's what phrase did they use? Is not compatible with Western civilization. 52%, right? So straight away, you've got. I mean, if you get 52% in an election, I mean, you're in power for 20 years. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's almost unassailable. You know, Starmer got in with 9 million votes, which is just ridiculous that he can manage to get a massive majority with 9 million votes. So if we get put it this way, if we can get 2 million people on the streets with us next year, surely to goodness we can get 20 million people voting for us, which is, we got 17.5 million in Brexit, you know. So it's, all of this is doable, you know. So I'm not downhearted. What worries me is what moves the Labour Party, the media, and all these scumbags that are traitors. And did you hear what Nick Tenconi said on his podcast with Calvin Robinson?
I did watch most of it. What
Mate,
was
this
that?
is one of the fair play to Nick. It's one of the funniest things he said, and he was joking. He said it poker faced. He says to Calvin, he says, "Calvin, when it comes to traitors and treason,
Oh yeah,
what's the best way to execute them? Are we going to behead them or hang them?" And I was just looking at him going, "Nick, when are you going to laugh?" And he just
Sure.
burst out laughing. You know what I mean? It was very funny. I must admit, it was brilliant.
Let me read these supers. Sorry, James. Let me just get through the supers, mate, because we've got quite a few tonight. Thanks, guys. Paul Lotz did not get voting cards in Caerphilly. Some did not realise it. Some didn't realise it was on. We tried ringing the council, who said they should have received them. All streets had no cards. Well,
Wow.
good boy again. Thanks, mate. 10 million to Moss Security for her people. Yeah, exactly. George, thank you, George. Try to stop the young people buying takeaway shit.
You got to start somewhere, George.
Diana, have what Trump had to put the flag.
USA flag in this movie. USA flag up.
Yeah, thank you, Diana. Appreciate that. Last one for the moment, at least. Sharon, thank you. Paul, I'm going to do something. I've been in touch with Sarah. I'm going to be head of West Suffolk Pink Ladies. Brilliant, Sharon. Well
That's really
done.
good. And Sharon's
Looking for ladies to join me. That's true. You having Sarah on, Paul, we need you. Thank you. Sharon's
exactly.
a great girl.
She is. I was just going to say that Sharon's been loyal to all of us on the channels, and that's great getting involved, Sharon. Well done.
Well done. Well done.
So when we're sorry.
Sorry, yeah, in Southpool. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. So if you're up that way as well.
Okay,
yeah,
cool. Yeah, that's
excellent.
great.
That's one to watch.
Yep.
Raven, people don't care. Their kids are carrying under desks and they still don't care. That's what I mean. It balls my piss, to be honest with you.
People are waking up, Paul. I mean, I think we've
but what does it take to wake them up, Richard? Some of them don't even wake up when their kids have been attacked.
Paul, we had 13th of September. We had 1 million people on the streets. I mean, and it's going to be more next time. And that's not counting the farmers. That's not counting people that still don't like us and don't like Tommy and still see us as a bit of a poison chalice. So there's massive support for what we're trying to do here, and it's growing. And we just need to keep cool and basically keep doing what we're doing.
So if anybody, I'll put this out as a call in case anybody wants to try and help. A week today, we're going to do another one of these chats, the gazebo up. Come and have a cup of tea with me on camera. I could do a bit of help with the technology, really. I've got the bits, but we'll make it work. But I'd like it to be smoother than last time. We're going to do it in front of the giant Union flag with all the poppies behind us and the Tommies. So it'll be a great looking setup, which we haven't done it for that. But that's what we're going to do. I'm going to announce it in the Derbyshire Times tonight or tomorrow. But if I announce it now on your show, then if people want to come in support or people want to come against, I'm just as happy to have people with opposing views. I'm more excited about having people with opposing views. Otherwise, you're in an echo chamber.
Yep.
But this will be at the Saltergate building at Chesterfield a week today, which is the 1st of November, probably from about 11 o'clock if people want to come. We'll be there 5 or 6 hours and let's just see what happens. And I do think these are the things that will help to turn it. I do not want to try and pretend to put myself in the level of intelligence of Charlie Kirk, but I am prepared to do that. And then I'm going to have another one made that's a bit smaller that pops up because I borrowed this one. And I'm prepared to start going out in the town centres and doing the same thing. I have a couple of security there with me just because you're not distracted just for the nut jobs.
Yeah,
coming over.
Have a couple of,
Yeah, but also somebody to make the tea as well, so it doesn't just look like it's security. Then you can talk to your mate a bit, so you doesn't feel like you're too much pressure on. So that is something else that I'm doing, and I'm prepared to then put that time in to start going around towns and cities and universities doing that, and sit in the middle of the high street. Now let's face it.
Well done, mate.
Well done. Let's see what happens. I would like to get some support for somebody to either help deal with the back end of the social media for me, or so if anybody wants to help with that. I'm not appealing for money, but if they want to put money in, great. But if not, I'll fund my own stuff, because if not, this is all a lot cheaper than me having to count.
How do people get hold of you? Put it in the comments, please. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they'll find me on Find the Flag or James Henry Holmes on Facebook. But I'll try and put something in. But yeah, all I'm trying to say is this is not really an appeal for money. It's an appeal for help, right? Yeah. I'll put the stuff behind mine. I'll put my own time in. I'll risk what could happen when we're coming up. Because when people say, James, don't you think this is a problem? You're putting your head above the parapet. I'm going, well, if my missus is attacked or my kids are attacked, how much time am I going to put into trying to counsel them? If instead I end up having to emigrate because I feel this country's gone down the hill that much, how much time and money is that going to cost me? How much inconvenience is that? So if I've got to put the next 4 years into banging this drum and being out every weekend on the streets, providing I can kind of keep everything ticking along, then I'll do that, because people are drawn along, I think, to the passion.
Yeah.
I think that's partially the difference. So not just kind of what we see on YouTube. If they can come and have that chat to you on the street, even if they don't agree with you, I think you've got a far better chance of them at least going, well, he ain't some like three-eyed monster. And all right, when you watch him and you're talking to him, he can come across a bit aggressive, but he's actually a decent, nice guy who's just passionate about what he's trying to do, and he's trying to look for my kids as well, even if I don't realise he's trying to look after my kids. So, sorry, Richard.
Richard, if you're still there, I accidentally kicked you out by mistake. Let me just read a couple of these out, mate. Richard, come back, brother. Thanks for your calming influence this evening, Richard. Ben, Paul, look up Football Lads Alliance. We are awake, Ben. I'm fully aware of that, mate. And I'm proud to say I know a lot of the football lads, good as gold. And I'm not talking about the football lads, mate. I'm talking about the general, you know what I mean, the regular football supporters. You lads are a different league. Tigger, boycott Kellogg's. They pay for the halal emblem. Is that right?
Well, there's another one. I mean, these are things. And if you're going to do boycotts, you got to write to the companies and tell them why you're boycotting them. It's as simple as that, because I think there's so much stuff that we can do that we're not doing. Paul, can you just give a shout out for the single, for the Men of England single? Because
I will do.
Released that on Friday. I've just dropped it in the comments there.
Yeah. Look at this, Richard. Look, Bundesliga. I don't mind admitting it. I'm finding this absolutely terrifying now, and that's what makes me so bloody angry. Right. So you want me to copy that link, Richard? Yeah.
Yeah, just copy that link. I think I've sent it on the private chat. Drop that into the description of your video. It's in the description of my video. It's in the description of the video.
Yes,
it's in the description of the video. Stick it up on the screen, and if people can actually, probably the best way to do it is go to the description of mine and Paul's videos. If you haven't done it, click on the link. You can download it with iTunes or Amazon, and you can stream it from all the other usual places you can stream it. But it's all in one place, just at that link. Because again, if we can get that at number one for Remembrance Sunday, I mean that would be beautiful, wouldn't it? It'd be absolutely fantastic. It'd be absolutely fantastic.
Now,
again,
just so that people know, if you go to the video description in either Rich's channel or mine, this link, it's a lot longer actually for some reason on my
should be the same.
Video description. But anyway, if you go there, you can download it. We can't play it because we get copyright strike, because it's now all down to Richard's like the Michael Jackson of the Patriot scene now. Johnny Cash,
No, hold on a minute, Paul. I'm not having that. I'm not like Michael Jackson, mate. You say I'm like Bono or something. I'm not going to have the Michael Jackson thing, mate.
Johnny Cash, I reckon.
Hey, Johnny Cash. Yeah, Johnny Cash would be perfect, mate. Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash.
You took the music off of the video, Paul. Paul.
Yeah.
That was the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, and obviously that was only connected through Facebook. So would that not be copyright free anyway?
No, I wouldn't think so. If you play it on YouTube, you get dinged. It's crazy. Because I own the rights to the Men of England.
It was very old music. I thought it might have been out of copyright.
No, if it's published anywhere on any of the major record companies, because I do it through my mate owns a record company. I done it through his record company, and I own the copyright, but I get a copyright strike on YouTube if I play it on my channel. It's crazy, But I mean, it's on YouTube, so every time someone watches it on YouTube, we should get royalties from from that. But I mean, it's pennies. It's not. You're not going to be a millionaire from doing.
I'll tell you what, lads. Right, let me just make this clear.
So much, if people go on my Facebook and they watch the reels there with the background music on, it is so much more emotive. Yeah. I mean, one when they're playing The Last Post and we're going past the poppies, and I think we play The Last Post and you can see us doing the poppies and my lads and my daughter, and you can see how it's got made up. And then when we're doing Land of Hope and Glory, and then even the one of my car, actually, the one with my car, when we first stick that up, when we've got Royal Britannia on, and just it brings a smile to your face. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to let you into a little secret. If people look closely on the poppies, there's one of the poppies that my daughter made to look like Mickey Mouse. Let's see if people can find it. We haven't highlighted it yet.
Brilliant.
Just to see how close people look.
Brilliant. I like whoever it was that said it's not a man named Sue, it's a boy named Sue. Brilliant song.
By the way, like,
the mud and the blood and the beer.
I've had a little pop at the football supporters tonight. Let me just be clear. I'm not having to go at the football lads because I know what, they're always our top lads, right? I'm talking about the hundreds of thousands that go on a Saturday afternoon and basically couldn't give a shit about anything else.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not even asking them not to go. How about just singing a song at football or something? Make your feelings known. Do something, for God's sake.
Yep. Sing the Men of England.
I don't think that would be played very much, Richard.
Not at the no, not with the woke football. You know, definitely not.
Ali Bo, did Paul grow up with money? No, I grew up with a lack of it.
Which we all still suffer from.
Makes you a better person, though. I think if you're born and it's silver spoon to you. I mean, my family were on the markets in the winter time when it was freezing cold, and we was there with them from 6 and 7 years old. At about 11, I'd go with my mum in the morning to unload her, and then get on the bus to go back to school. And listen, I'm not saying we had a bad upbringing by any measure. We had a great upbringing, right? My family are off fun fairs, so we literally brought up in family businesses, handling money and stuff like that. But it's that knowing where every penny comes from.
Absolutely.
That makes you resilient. And I paid my daughter, actually. I paid my daughter the other day for doing that with the poppies. And it was obviously not about the money. It was so that she could feel a sense of she got something for doing that.
Yeah.
Because we've got to try and build that into our kids, haven't we?
Oh, totally. And we've got to build, you know, there's all sorts of stuff we need to do. We've got to build resilience. We've got to get people really, you know, people have got to get tough again. And I think people will get tough. You know,
I'll tell you another one that helps actually as well, you know, have the kids add up the cost of stuff. So like, you know, like if you're at a cafe or something, get the kids add up and then have them pay with cash.
Yeah.
And count the change. One, it's good for their maths, but also they're associating with actual money, and the money generally has got the king on it. So again, you associate it's a bit like associating with the flag. When you just tap, it doesn't mean anything. Yeah. But the school where my daughter goes to, they say none of the other kids do that, and they smile at my daughter doing it because it's unusual, and it shouldn't be unusual. In the same way, seeing a Union flag shouldn't be triggering for somebody. It should just be common because we're seeing them all around.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, you know, I think there's lads in Birmingham that are putting the flags out, and they're getting all sorts of stick from people. And I just can't believe it. And it's almost all of them white people that are giving them grief.
Yes.
You know, that's the thing that worries me. You know, you just look at that and you go, "What is wrong with people? This is our national
this Richard. This is what I say. I mean, like all of us, I follow this every day of my life, every bloody minute of the day almost, and like I'm sick of the treachery. These people, it's like someone was having a dig at me yesterday, saying, "Oh, why are you always talking about problems that brown people are bringing?" I said, "It's got nothing to do with colour." I said, "In fact, the people that piss me off the most look like you."
Absolutely,
right?
Yes.
You know, because you know these are. I've said again, it's not about bloody colour. It's about all the things that are going wrong in our country. Genexa 541. Will anything be left for our kids? Yeah, a right mess.
Do you know what you need to do, Paul? Right, this is what you need to do, mate. Right, see when you come off this tonight, right?
Go and ball me head.
No. Have a Horlicks, right? Have some cocoa or something like that. There, some nice warm milk, and go on one of those comedy channels and find something like the Two Ronnies or Dad's Army, and sit and watch some 1970s or 80s comedy. I was watching. The wife did it this afternoon because we were watching all this crazy stuff, and I went out the room, came back, and the Two Ronnies were on, right? And it was the Phantom Raspberry Blower. Do you remember the Phantom Raspberry Blower?
Yeah.
Mate, come on! Come on, Paul. We've got to line it, man.
Tell you what, I know you're right, Richard, but I can feel where Paul is because I get like this. I now never watch anything laughy and jokey because you feel like it's so intense. And I know it sounds crazy to say that, but you don't feel like you can switch off for it because you feel like it's too important. But your advice is right. I mean, for me, I know it was go to the ice bath, but you're right. Anything. I mean, I'll tell you what, I'm not plugging him, but I do like him. I didn't even bought a ticket for him. Jimmy Carr, even just with all his promo reels that are on Facebook.
Right. I'll tell you what, boys, I'm gonna stop you both there for a moment because I have been watching a little bit something light-hearted lately. In fact, I had it on just before the show, and I'm going to go to bed watch it tonight. Do you want to see what it is?
Go on, stick it on.
Are you ready? Here we go.
Thames Television. George.
Bit of George and Mildred.
George and Mildred. Brilliant. No, there's so
And
much.
there is a lot of those kind of old
loads of
programs
stuff.
that just free flowing,
just funny. And the comedy, it's all un-PC comedy as well. It's all proper funny stuff. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
Do you know Michael McIntyre's great? I think Michael McIntyre's absolutely fantastic comedian. Went to see him a few years ago. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
There's a good point from Susan. She's absolutely spot on. Apathy has got us into this mess. Apathy and treachery.
Yes.
Apathy and treachery. Thank you, Corinne.
But, you see,
thank
the
you.
thing-
But
the
that
thing
bless
is, here's
Paul
the
Watts,
thing.
funny cats and funny dogs. Go
Here's
on,
the
mate.
thing. Here's the thing, right? It's all right beating ourselves up and beating other people up that aren't doing whatever we're doing. What we've had is a psyop waged against the British people since the 1960s, right? The fact, and since before we were born, right? This has been going on. Roy Jenkins did it with the Permissive Society, where all the stuff that caused social problems was legalized in the 1960s, abortion and blah blah, all the rest of it, and that's where the problem started, and everything has just spiraled out of control, and then of course, I'm going to say it, and I know a lot of people are not going to like it, but we're on controversy tonight, millions of babies killed in the womb since the Abortion Act, right? And the reason I feel passionate about it, I was adopted. If abortion had been legal when I was adopted, would I have made it out the womb even, right? So millions of babies aborted. Well, you've got to replace those babies with something, haven't you? Because all those babies would have been workers. That most of them were working class. All those babies would have been working in the factories, working in the catering industry, etc., etc., etc. So what did we do? We brought in 6 million Muslims. We killed all our kids and brought in 6 million Muslims.
Well,
and
not
I
just,
know that's
not just Muslims, Rich. We brought in.
Yeah. But I mean, let's get it right. Islamic immigration is the problem. It's not, I don't have a problem with Christians from Nigeria. I don't have a problem with Buddhists from Nepal.
absolutely,
I don't have a problem with Hindu, Sikhs. There's one demographic that's causing the problem, right?
Yes.
And a big part of that is because people were killing their babies. Let's just be as brutal as that. And I think we've got to start having these discussions. And it's not from a religious point of view. It's purely demographics, and it's purely a practical point of view. If I'd have been conceived in the 1970s, I probably wouldn't be here now. Simple.
I mean, I think you could also. I mean, I don't necessarily think it's not just Muslim immigration, except that's where the trouble is. But it's the appeasement of the extreme of that, because they're not allowing that in these other countries. If they were kept in tow like they would be in a lot of the other countries, then this would not be an issue. Because, like you say, I want to believe that most people are good-hearted, but it's only when you let the wild ones run free that it drags everybody else along with it. But I would go a little bit.
Listen
I'd
to
go a
this.
little bit further though. I go a little bit further though than the what you was just saying about abortions. How much do you think of the collapse of birth rates as being the emancipation of men? So that now now what they call it, any man now that acts manly, they're calling it toxic masculinity.
Absolutely.
What you're trying to do is you're trying to remove the balls from a man. So then how can you then expect him to be a father? How can you expect him to want to have kids and go through all the things it takes to be a father, provide for them, just have the discipline? So I think you've got both sides of that. You've got the babies
100%.
that weren't born, and I think you've also got the ones that maybe were born that ain't got no manliness there. And we all know lots of these problems, lots of the problems that we have with children is because they haven't got both influences at home. Totally. And I'm not saying that's the panacea, but we know it's better.
You're absolutely right, James. And that's all part of the same problem. This all came from the 1960s, and this is a project. So that's a 60-year project, and that's what we're fighting against.
Listen to this. I had a family member out in the UAE this week in Dubai, and a guy out there, a bit of a kind of a long story short, right? But they watched my channel out in Dubai.
Yeah.
And they're an Emirati, and they said, "Oh, tell Paul, what the hell is the UK doing? We wouldn't have none of that shit, none of it."
Yeah.
He said, "You've taken all our dross.
Totally.
You scraped the bottom of our barrel and invited it over to England."
Yep.
And then fed it, watered, and protected it.
Yep. Exactly.
Right, guys, last one tonight. Thank you very much, Kenny. Mind Your Language is brilliant to watch reruns of. I might have a little go at that tonight when I go into bed. Guys, I'm going to bring it to a close. We've been on for an hour and 45 minutes tonight. So
I'm up at 5:30 UK time to get down to Southampton.
good man. Listen, if you're going to Southampton tomorrow, please be careful. I'm sure it'll be trouble-free. But I would hope that as many of you as possible can go. Well done
Need
for
a
going
massive
tomorrow.
crowd. They
You need a
massive
big crowd
there.
out there tomorrow. Yeah, a lot of support.
I'm going to try and get myself interviewed at a few places. I was interviewed at Faversham, which I think came across quite well, just impromptu. I made a mistake. I should have volunteered at Epping just because it must be hard for the organisers to keep having something to say. And I was a fresh face. So in future, I'm going to try and make a point of getting myself there and getting the mic, but not because I'm some enlightened speaker, but I think it makes it a little bit easier for the organisers. Obviously, I can base it around the flag, so it's a slightly different conversation, just so it keeps these things a bit more interesting, really, for other people. And hopefully it helps, like you said a minute ago, bring in some fresh blood, some fresh impetus, even if it's just them coming and patting you on the back a little bit and going, what can I do? Or good lad, or...
Well,
very quickly.
Yeah.
How many people are listening? If anybody knows the owner of a building that might be of our persuasion, overlooking Gary Neville's hotels or on his walk to work, I will pay for the biggest flag we can get on that building, and we'll install it for free. So anybody, if you know anybody around there, any buildings that you know and know the owners, let me know. Let's have it.
Yeah. Can I just say, James, I think, you should be getting interviewed because you're extremely articulate. You've got a very winsome way about it. You're not blowing smoke up your ass. Well, I am a bit, but I'm being genuine. So, if you can get on camera with the BBC or any of these people, go for it, man, and do as much as you can, because so many of us are absolutely jaded by all this, as you can see from Paul.
Yeah.
Paul. I've never seen Paul like this before in my life. Like, I'm going to have to fly over and give you a shoulder record. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what, mate. Even the cat's pissed off tonight. I'll tell you.
The cat's left home.
They've
The
gone.
cat and even the Rottweiler's left home tonight, Paul. He's flipping terrified.
Oh, don't talk to me. I got the hump of him. When my wife's away, he proper sulks, right? And like, do you know what she said to me? I'm taking it to the airport. I think I might have told you this the other night, right? I don't know if I did. I don't want to
listen,
repeat
Paul, but you
myself.
probably did. Go on ahead.
Well, you've proved that already tonight. I was speaking to you this morning, you forgot. Do you know what she said to me in the car on the way to the airport? I got to the airport, some bloody Frenchman crashed into my car, made a right
See,
dent
that's
in
the
the back
French
of
for
my
you, Paul.
motor.
That's the French,
right?
mate. That's the French.
You can take the man out of Paris, but you can't take the Paris out of the man, right? I said to him, do you speak English? He said, no. He said, Francais? I said, no. I said, well, on your bike then. That's got much the same.
Was he wearing onions and the berry and all, Paul, yeah?
No, not quite. But when I think about him now, he might have been. No, anyway, we're on the way to the airport. She's going back to see her mum, pick my granddaughter up, right, blah, blah, blah. She said to me, look after my baby while I'm away, won't you? I said, you know I will. She said, you know he likes a belly rub before he goes to sleep at night.
I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say no. I was talking to the dog.
A belly rub. He wants a belly rub before he goes to bed at night. Is she having a laugh? I don't even get a belly rub. I don't even
I've
get a
seen
rub
your
of
belly,
any
Paul. I
kind.
don't blame you, Mrs. Not giving you a
It'd take a long time to rub my belly, wouldn't it?
There's plenty of fur on it, but
Have a look at some of these. I'll tell you what, God, before we go, look at these. They don't make them like they used to. Look. Hello, hello, love thy
yes,
neighbour,
brilliant.
the good life,
Right,
man
the good
about
life,
the house, on the
Felicity
buses,
Kendall.
rising damp, look.
Yeah.
And that's without only fools and horses and minder.
No.
Yeah.
Right, I won't be able to get
Good.
that belly rub. Where is he? Leo, do you want a belly rub?
You get shot if you said yeah, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Is there any,
Right.
there's nothing better than a dog, though, is there, for making
Oh,
it at home? I mean,
especially one that keeps biting you. Where is he?
A
Let me go
rock-
see if I can get him. Hold
are
on
you
a
missing
minute.
him now?
Hold on.
Never seen Paul like this before, James. Never
No.
seen Paul like this before. He's absolutely beside himself. He's like, normally I'm the one that's actually on a rampage, and Paul's now. Come on, Richard. I don't think you should be saying that tonight. He's just the gloves have come off. Like he's been, he's a different man. He's radicalized himself. His wife's been away a day, and he's radicalized.
It does get you though a bit at times, doesn't it?
Oh,
Because
mate, yeah.
it's all consuming, isn't it? And
Yeah, it just this is the thing, and I think that the issue is all of us that really go for it with this. We've all got sort of very obsessive personalities. So if you get into something, you get into it. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, yeah.
I think though I think that's not a negative, because if you look at the people that are successful at anything, whether that's sports or that's business or whatever, or you could even say if it's successful at chasing women, the same thing applies.
Yeah.
They're very obsessive about doing that thing.
Yeah, can you hear him?
Yeah. It's the people that are apathetic to everything that never really
Exactly.
make any difference. So
exactly. You better been hot or cold and be lukewarm, aren't you? I mean, it's you better be just and it's so important. I mean, the thing is, this is for our kids, it's for our grandkids, it's for the elderly, it's for our age group, it's for we're elderly now, Paul, aren't we? It's Paul,
I mean,
you're going very quiet.
I know he's an exception like Elon. But I mean, when you look at a man as mega successful as him and all the things he's done, and yet even he will tell you, I've seen him in multiple interviews, I've seen every interview he's done, and he'll tell you his mind is a storm. Riley, the lady who married twice, she said, I'd marry him again once so you can calm down, So it's not an easy to be successful or even just to be passionate. You're not an easy person to be around, are you? No. I don't want to make it as an excuse, but I think sometimes you have just got to go right and accept it for what it is.
No, I mean I'm like that. I mean I'm totally, and again it's because there's that many things going on in your head at one time, and when you're passionate about it, if something goes wrong, you get really frustrated about it, and you can become it's all consuming. It takes over every part of your life, and I mean and it's getting that balance as well, James. It's getting that balance so your business doesn't get affected, so your marriage doesn't get affected. And so many people I know in this movement have really suffered because because it does take over your life. And then when you get the heat from the press and you get the heat from the media and get the police, start harassing you, it's just
all gets a bit much at times. Right, guys, I'm going to close it up. Let's have a little look. Where are we? Paul, how sweet Leo is. You should have brought him on earlier to calm you down. Get that hot drink, Richard said. Oh, dear. Right, guys. Gonna love you and leave you. Thank you so much for joining us, James and Richard. Thank you.
Thanks for the time.
Gonna demote myself to the bottom there and leave the two guests up the top. I'm going to play out the intro. So I'm just going to remove you guys for one moment and I'll be back in a second. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a great weekend, what's left of it. And we'll be back soon. Take care, everyone.